Greetings. We are so happy to have everyone join in today. We have a special guest. We have Dan here to touch base on his business and what he's doing within his organization, and more importantly, what we all can do together to weather this storm and just kind of touch base on what we're doing as wellness too during this pandemic. So Dan, I'll start off and I'll ask you just to tell us a little bit about your business and what you're doing today to really go through this pandemic.
So it definitely has been an interesting month or two for us. But so we're a pretty small company. We've got about 10 routes spread out between 3 different locations. So first thing we did when the pandemic started, we just decided to try to isolate the warehouses so that we didn't have employees transferring, between back and forth in and out of each other's facilities. So, but yeah, it's been interesting. So business wise, business is not good. I think that's probably the case with everybody. But we're trying to we're probably spending more effort right now trying to get prepared for when things start to open back up, rather than try to jump through a lot of hoops to try to generate sales that maybe would pan out a little bit, or not quite what we're looking for. So and so as things start to open back up, one of the our customers have individual requests of what they're looking for. One customer might think it's touch points that they're trying to minimize. Another customer might think it's social distancing and they don't want crowds, or they don't want people in the same room together. So every customer's individual needs are a little bit different. So, and I'm assuming everybody's in that same approach. So some of the things, so like 365 has the touchless transactions. And we were not nearly as far along as we wanted to be on converting over to the ADM platform.
Mm-hmm.
So we have shifted into high gear on doing our migrations over to the ADM platform. I think we have about 45 micro markets. And after today, I think we'll be about halfway there. So we still have a ways to go.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, no, you hit it right on the money here, where we're talking about kind of how we're going to change into this new normal and kicking things into high gear. And that's something we are doing as well as an organization. It just so happens to be when we implemented touchless transactions, we were ahead of the curve, not knowing that we would embark on such a challenging time, this pandemic. But that's the amazing thing about these partnerships, to hear your feedback, what your customers are going through, and what we can do to really help to weather the storm, and to see that you have taken that proactive approach. It not only just kind of cements how you all are really focused on the safety of your customers and the efficiency and the convenience of that. That's at the forefront for us as well. That's why it's so important for us to do these checkpoints with you, to really kind of put our finger on the pulse to what's going on in the industry. And partnering with you is going to help us become not only triumphant, but I think that's that optimism that we are sharing together, because we know that this new normal, it's going to be much different going forward, and how we handle, day-to-day operations. As mentioned, people are going to have some reservations. People are going to feel a little resistant, to maybe wanting to come back into the fold. But you guys have taken a very aggressive approach and getting those things implemented. And I think it's going to really pay off in the long run, because like I said, going forward in this industry, people are going to look for those less contact and more of the touchless operations, to where you can just handle things from, your handheld phone. So the fact that you guys have recognized that we're here. We're here partnering with you, and we're glad that we could be a part of this change. And we're better together because we're creating this new normal, if you will, of how we're going to go forth within the industry. And any information that we can provide to you in regard to that, we are totally a resource to ensure that you have that. So you mentioned about communicating with your customers. What are some of the channels that you guys have done? Have you done just phone calls or emails? What are some of the things that you've done because we're not able to kind of maybe have some of those face-to-face interactions?
I would say texting, phone calls,
Mm-hmm.
and emails.
Yep.
So one of our customers is the touch points. Eliminating the touch points is one of their big things. So they are a manufacturer that deals with a lot of aluminum. So they have designed and made us a bracket to attach to the doors of our coolers so that people can walk up and with their foot open the doors of the coolers
Oh, wow.
and not have to touch the door handles. So that was one thing we talked about. The other thing we're really close on with them is like on our water machines, different segment, but same customer. We're trying to design a foot pedal to operate our water machines
Oh, wow.
instead of people walking up hitting the button. So
Wow. It's breeding innovation, it's doing things differently to still make sure that we're maximizing our efficiency and our availability to consumers. So those type of conversations and innovations we're excited to hear about. We're excited to partner with how we can help to ease and create that transition. That's awesome to hear because like you, we're having a conversation on how we're going to change our day-to-day operations. It's going to be much different, but we're optimistic. We're optimistic because we're not going to give up. We're going to continue on and we're going to try to, like I said, come out on this other side. And I think the slow and gradual phase back into the norm will take place. But like I said, it's only possible with these partnerships such as yourself. So we're really excited to see what that's looking like. So what are some of the things that you have done personally in this quarantine time to keep your sanity? So for instance, I'll share a little bit about what I do. My family is extremely competitive. I found out during this quarantine. We're doing a Top Chef kind of Zoom as we're doing here right now. And I can't taste any of the dishes, but they're very tough critics when it comes to the visual presentation. So we've been doing just, things we normally wouldn't do. Normally we would gather around that kitchen table, and meet, and I have family from all over, the US. So it's been trying, but we've found a way to still try to connect in a way that it brings us, closer together. So what are some things you've done, Dan?
oh boy, I would say projects is probably the biggest one. Things that need to get done in the spring. So it's been kind of a nice time of year to have to do that. We've had some Monopoly games that have rolled into 2 or 3 Monopoly games. Netflix, and I don't usually watch a lot of TV, but I've watched a lot of Netflix. So I've watched
Any
more
good
movies.
shows?
Yeah, it's crazy. It is definitely going to go down in history as a time that everybody will remember. Some bad because it hasn't been a great time, but it's just different. It's forced us to spend a little bit more time visiting, maybe more so than not. And so yeah, it's been interesting.
I absolutely agree. It's like a very how can I say this? I would say it's a huge pause, but in some ways maybe a needed pause to sit and readjust. In some ways, and I think that's how we like to look at it. Being a little bit more optimistic, because if you kind of get trumped in with the news and all of the things that are going on, it can wear on you. But I think kind of doing just that, kind of doing things that you maybe wouldn't have regularly done, trying things out. There's a few shows, documentaries I would never thought that I would watch on Netflix, and it has got my attention. So just broadening our horizons and just kind of keeping things sane. And that's what we have to do until this storm is over. But the good thing about it, you have 365 along the way, creating the new innovations and partnering with you to make this transition back to when we get back to our scheduled program. I anticipate, like I said, to come out on the other side, and working with you all is definitely going to be the way that we do that. So once again, just wanted to touch base and keep that communication going, that we are always a resource. Anything that we can do to provide, please don't hesitate. We just wanted to, like I said, check in and see how you're faring in this pandemic and let you know we're in this together, because we ultimately are better together. And we definitely want to continue that going forward. So Dan, I thank you so much for your time today. I just wanted to just quickly pop in and just say a quick hello and do a wellness check.
Thank you for calling. And from our end, we want to say, I mean, I work with Eric with 365, and 365 has been absolutely wonderful through this thing. Every day I call Eric and tell him, well, this is what I want to do. And I just think, man, he's just got to think, oh, it's Dan again. But
no,
he's been great. And we've been trying to get as many things converted as we can. And I'm sure he's sick of explaining to us how some of it works, but it's been good. So we want to thank 365 for all their support too. So
we are so happy to help, and please continue to call. This helps to motivate and keep us going, and know that our efforts to really ensure that we make it through this storm. So keep calling. We love it.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.